Hello everyone and welcome to our CAD lab. This is Unit 2, Lesson 3. We're really excited to be with you today. What this lesson seeks to do is to teach you how to turn these hand sketches that you've learned earlier in the unit into something in 3 dimensions. Something you could 3D print, something that is easier for people to see who have a hard time understanding how to read aircraft drawings. And you may run into that in your workplace. So this is an extension activity and we hope that it's useful for you. Let's go ahead and get started. What I have in front of me right here is an aircraft part that was drawn by hand sketch, and I essentially want to convert this into 3D. For today's lesson, we're going to be using an open source CAD software that's called TinkerCAD. And for those of you who are new to CAD, don't worry. I find that this is pretty user-friendly, and I've taught lessons like this to junior high school students, and they've picked it up really quickly. So I'm pretty confident that you should be able to get this. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to go to tinkercad.com. It's spelled Tinkercad, tinkercad.com. And then when you press enter, you should get a home page that looks something like this. What you're going to do then is click login. How you choose the login is going to largely depend on what school you're with, what their policies are, but I personally just click here where it says personal accounts, and I sign in with my Google account. There are many ways you can go about this. I'm not going to give you a specific way to do it. I just hope that you're able to log in. And once you're logged in, you get to this point and you have a home page. And this is what my home page comes out to be. And what's going to happen is that when you go to your home page, and again, it should come up on the side and it should say home. Once you're on your home page, you're going to see a button over here, a blue button in the right-hand corner that says Create. So if you click Create, it's going to give you an option, and let me get this out of the way so you can get a better look at it. It says 3D design, circuits, or code blocks. We're going to focus on 3D design. If you want to get into the circuits and code blocks features of TinkerCAD, I highly recommend it. It's a great way to learn engineering and some of the basic things. I use them in my classes all the time. Fantastic tool. If you click here on 3D design, then what's going to happen is a CAD interface or computer-aided drafting interface is going to appear. So my recommendation, if you're using a laptop to complete this lesson, make sure you have an actual real mouse with you. Wireless, plug-in, whatever it may be. Do not use your center pad. That is going to make things extremely difficult. Again, make sure you're using a mouse. Super important that we do that. So let me tell you a little bit about how to use the mouse here in CAD. Again, something super important. You have a bunch of different buttons, but I'm going to start here with my scroll wheel, which is the thing right in the middle right here. If you scroll forward on your scroll wheel, it's going to zoom in on your work plane, and if you scroll out, it's going to zoom out. And if you found that you've scrolled out too far and that you need to readjust, you could always click the home view button right here and it's going to get you back to where you started. So great, there's your home view. Another thing you should know is that if you click down on the scroll wheel and hold it, it allows you to move your work plane from left to right. This is a very important tool, and getting fluent with the mouse is going to be so important here. A few other things you should know. If you go to your left button or your left clicker and you hold down on it, it might help if I drag something on here. Let's drag this cube from onto the work plane here. Let's say I want to move this cube. If you left click, it selects the cube, and maybe at this point I could make some adjustments. Let's say I want to make this 30 feet long. I could adjust my dimensions here. But if you left click, you select it. If you left click and hold it, it allows you to move it around the work plane. Again, left click and hold to move around the work plane. Left click once, you select. And then right click is actually a really interesting feature, because if you hold to right click, instead of translating the work plane like you did when you were holding the center scroll button, if you hold the right, you can rotate your work plane, and you can even move it up and down and get different views of things. Super important tools. I will also refer you to the view cube. If you want to do just the front view of your box, it does that. If you want to do side views, top views, again, click the little arrows along here. Gives you some very great and helpful information. So you can even click the corners right here and maybe get an oblique view or a perspective view. You can even click and hold the cube, and it'll allow you to do lots of really interesting things, very similar to what you would do if you were holding your right mouse. So again, that's how you operate the mouse. Hope this is helpful. Let's get into the lab in the next video.